Okay, the subject is applications for indefinite integrals. So definition says integrals of p prime of x, this is a profit, the derivative marginal profit, dx is equal to the profit functions plus c. In other words, the integral of any derivative f prime of x, it's always going to be equal f of x plus c. The integral, it gives you the original function. In other words, it recovers, once you have the derivatives, it recovers the original function. So once you have the marginal profit, you can use the integral to recover the profit function. So let's do example 1. The marginal profit for producing x units of a product is, so marginal product is what? P prime of x, it's equal negative 0.20x plus $40. And the question is, what would be the profit function? So we're looking for a p of x. So we're looking for the profit function. What would be the profit functions, knowing that p equal negative 12 when x is 0? In other words, p of 0 is equal negative 12. This is given, usually this is given just to find the constant. So first what we do, we need to find, so p, the profit function, is going to be equal the integral of p prime of x dx, which is equal to integral of negative 0.20x plus 40 dx. Now we know that the integral is equal to what? So p of x is equal negative 0.20x. Remember, these are 1 here, so we're going to use the power rule for integral. So negative 0.20x. 1 plus 1 is 2 over 2 plus, and the integral of 40 constant is just 40x. And don't forget, it's going to be plus some constant. So how do we find this constant? This is when we use p of 0 equal negative 12. This is the initial condition. So p of 0 means whatever we see x, we plug a 0. Plug a 0 here, we plug a 0 there. So it's, first of all, negative 0.20 divided by 2 is negative 0.10. Right? Let me rewrite this as negative 0.10 x squared plus 40x plus c. Right, so we plug a 0 here, we plug a 0 there, so it's going to be negative 0.10 0 squared plus 40 times 0 plus c. And we know that this is going to be equal to negative 12. Right here it's given, negative 12. Now, if you look at just this part, we can find the c pretty easy. Why? 0 plus 40 times 0 is 0 plus c is equal negative 12, which means c is equal negative 12. Now all we need to do is just plug it back. So now we know the constants. So therefore, the profit function is equal negative 0.10 x squared plus 40x plus the constant is negative 12. So that's our profit function. Now for question B, what would be the profit from selling 100 units? In other words, they're asking us to find P of 100. So all we do, plug the 100 into our profit function right here. So this is negative 0.10 100 squared plus 40 times 100 minus 12, which is equal to negative 0.10 100 squared is 4 zeros, 100 times 100, 4 zeros. 40 times 100 is 4,000 minus 12. This will be equal, 1 0 will be gone from here, so that would be negative 1,000 plus 4,000 minus 12. So it's 3,000 minus 12, so it's $2,988. And that's it for this example.